Okay, so basically, trapping. The basic idea behind trapping is I throw a punch at Steve, Steve blocks it with something, I remove that barrier, that defensive barrier, and I keep striking. A lot of people think that trapping comes off of when Steve is striking me. So the danger of that is I have to let him hit me. I have to let him try and hit me for that to take place. It's not that. As our instructor says, trapping is a byproduct of hitting. So meaning, I'm already hitting, it's just a matter of he threw up a defense and now I'm going to trap because of it. Okay? So, if I was to throw a punch at Steve, he throws up any kind of barrier. Okay? This is the barrier now that I want to remove. Okay? But this is the attachment that I'm actually looking for if I want to trap. Okay? So, and he could do it with the rear hand, but he just happened to do it with the front hand. Okay? And that's what we're actually going to work on this time. There are two main things that I can do with this front hand. There's one that's going to be a grab and pull hand. So, without moving my elbow out, I'm thinking about pulling the force back towards my hip. I'm going to pull back my hand, turn it over, grab, pull, twist, and hit. Okay? So, again, going here, as I retract my hand, I'm going to twist over my wrist, grab, pull, and hit. Okay? Just for practicing purposes, we started off from what we call a reference point. Okay? So, in our stance, we meet at the wrists. Okay? And this represents that punch I just threw and then he threw up that barrier. Okay? To make it more technical, we make sure that our wrists are about shoulder height. And from our center line, you can draw a line from our center through our wrists to the other center line. So his center line and my center line are facing each other. Okay, now you'll notice that our shoulders are now in a square on position. The reasoning for that is that when I'm at a 45, the reach of my arms are this, without torquing. When I'm square on, both of my hands have the same range. So once I'm in hitting range, now both of my hands can hit him. And because we're so close and things are going to happen fast and furious, I'm going to want both hands to be able to hit. Okay. So from this is our practice point. We call it reference point. And this, what we're going to do is called reference point trapping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just twist my wrist. So this doesn't come out like this, okay? And I don't want to move his wrist like this, because that's wasted motion and it gives him an opening, okay? If something is on the center line, I'm going to remove it at my choosing. I don't want to remove both hands from the center line and hope that this hits, because either he's got a chance just as much as I do, but I want to grab, pull, and twist, and see how it sort of turns his shoulder, and that gives me an advantage. He's got very little hope to get that. He can stop it, but then I've got other things after that I can do. Okay, so it's a grab, pull, and twist, and it's very economical. Look at how it only moves from here to about here. So it's not a big circular motion or anything like that. It's here, and that's all I need. And I should be throwing my punch at the same time. One thing to add is the step and slide that we just did. Okay? So, in order to get into range, to be able to actually hit him without leaning, I'm going to want to step and slide at the same time. Okay? And what I want you guys to do is just to practice. You saw that I punched beside his face. I would rather teach and practice penetration than I would stopping short. Because this teaches you to stop short and not go through the target. Okay? So I don't want in the street for somebody to go, oh crap, I missed. Like, that should have worked and I had the opening, but I've been training to do that this whole time and geez, that should have worked, but it didn't. So I want you to step and slide This is called Lop Da, and when I hit, it's called Lop Da, Da meaning hit. Okay, so this is grab and pull and hit, meaning in Cantonese it's Lop Da. So Lop Da and hit, I did a step and slide, and what I want to do is I don't want to leave it out there, I want to retract it back. Okay, so it's a, because if Steve stops that, I have the option to retract and just hit to a new line. Okay? And we're just going to start off with that. It's pretty basic, but it does take a lot of, it looks simple, but there's a lot to it once you start physically doing it. This basically means slap hand and hit. Okay? So this one's a little more intricate from our reference point. Again, Steve's arm is in the way of this center line or central line plane that I want to attack along. Okay? What I'm going to do is, instead of a pull, I'm going to take this rear hand. Okay, I'm going to pretend that there's a spike coming out of the center of my palm. I'm going to take this spike and go directly to the side of his elbow, and I'm going to pin it to his center. Okay, so the spike is coming in, straight in. It's not coming out and around. It's coming straight in directly to the side of his elbow and pinning right to his center line. And see how it turns him again and it opens up his defenses. Okay, so doing it a little more quickly, I'm going to encourage you to do it slowly first. But when you do it at speed, it's not a push, it's not a slap, it's in between. Okay? What I mean by that is it's in between. It's a slap and a push at the same time. Okay? So, pinning this to his center line, and it turns his shoulders. Steve can stop that, but he's got very little after that, and he can't reach me with his elbow. Okay? So, again, I'm just removing this front barrier. If I get my hand out and ready, and then it's got less space to travel, because if I have it back here and then it has to go, he's going to see that. So I want it out and in front, going straight in, pinning it to the center line, attacking, and again I'm going to attack to the side, but penetrate through and retract. Okay, so at speed it's going to be okay, so we'll give that a try. If you're going over a little bit, trying to open my center line, then I take your center line, right? So it's something to basically make sure that this is sort of a stalemate, and now something else has to be done. Okay, so it's probably not going to be done with this or that, right? So that's why we're doing the trapping. So go ahead.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's really good.
Good. And like I said, if you have the elbow out to the side and you're a little too close, there's not enough space to operate, right? So you keep that elbow out in front of you. Okay, this is also a gauge. If I happen to pocket you and you move back, okay, this is keeping me basically attached to you, and it's gauging my range to keep on hitting me. Okay, because if a guy's not expecting it and he stumbles backwards, he's going to have to follow me, and that's giving you a gauge to your range, right?